We are live. What's going on, Facebook? How's everyone doing in the GSD family? Guys, it's a brand new year. I don't know about you guys. I don't even know about Rahul, but I'm feeling the momentum. I love the new year. You know why? Because for some odd reason, it makes us all hit the mental reset button inside of our brains, and it makes us do shit that we really should, if we're being honest, be doing probably once a month, once a week, but we do it at least once a year. And so I personally have been spending the whole last weekend doing math, making numbers, making plans, and it gets me excited. It gets my blood pumping. So what is the title of it? Did we hit our goals in 2021, and what are we doing for 2022? In the GSD, we hit a goal. We had a few goals, actually, now that I'm thinking out loud, for what we wanted to do. And in 2022, we have very big dreams about how much we want to grow this family, by how many people we really want to bring into this free community, how many people we want to bring into our coaching program, and how many lives that we want to change. We got big shit going on. And reflecting on that myself, guys, really makes me think of how important it is for everybody to do planning this time of year, for everybody to use that kind of energy that they get from knowing that it's a fresh year, it's a fresh number on the sheet. And it's time for you to really sit down and make not only your macro goals, when Lambo and all that good stuff, but the micro goals, all right, the steps on how you're going to get there. One thing that I always tell you guys when I talk about, choosing mentors and programs and the stuff that you're doing so that you're not just chasing your own tail, is to understand, everything about your business, to really know how to find where the bottlenecks are. Really take a look and be able to diagnose your company, your journey, yourself, and see where the bottlenecks are, and then filling those specific gaps with people that have actually already gotten a couple steps ahead of you in that part, right? And that's what the micro goals come down to. All right, you want to hit those 10, 50, 100K months. Let's say you want to get to 100K a month, but you're only at 2K right now. Do you think it might be more reasonable to say, cool, well, if I have one client at 2K, then I probably should shoot for the first goal to be, when can I get to 10K? When can I get 5 clients? What can I do to multiply my current business by 5? What do I need to do? How many appointments do I need to book on my calendar? How many leads do I need to get before I can get those appointments booked, right? How many of those appointments will I close? So understand your percentage of closing ratio, your percentage of booking ratio, your cost per lead, your cost per click, right? And understanding this all the way back. Now we've gone from, I want to make $100,000 a month, to my first goal, my first baby step is to understand how to get to 10K a month. I know that in order to hit this, I need to get this, and this. My closing ratio sucks, right? I've already got that cost per lead. I've already got that many appointments. But I'm not closing any of them. I got 2 calls a day, but I haven't made a sale in 3 weeks. There's your bottleneck, right? And we got there by working our way backwards from goals, from macro to micro, and understanding our numbers. And that's how you need to plan out this year. Understand where that break is happening and fix it. And if you fix each one of those in ascension, and we move up towards the goal, you'll find it's almost impossible to fail. And you're not just slapping, what is it, that infomercial where they slap the duct tape on the leak that's coming out of the thing, that meme? That's not what you're doing anymore. You're actually building a structure on proper foundations that's going to last.
Yeah. So, I mean, just going into from the sales brain of my side of things, having Cody as the analytics side, I mean, the numbers that he presented to us is X amount of appointments, X amount of show up rate, X amount of per unit appointments, like per unit, not to sound like humans or units, but like one setter needs to get X amount, another setter, another setter, another setter. So we have like our individualized goals. So we actually lowered them actually from last year. But the way we actually did the math, it actually increases our margins, but also increases our monthly recurring. So that's why we take these exercises, because we're taking on too many sales calls. So now we're focused more with people being with us longer. They're trained really, really well. By the way, we have all kinds of people that we're training for setters. For those of you guys that need setters, we got something big for you guys. They're fully trained by us. So it's not by like another person or some like like another VA that has a VA that has a VA, like kind of like coaches coaching coaches, like our coaches, right? So it's kind of like a weird scenario where we're actually a source. They're going through our whole GSD university. So if you guys need setters, it is literally the most important role if you want to grow your business. There's no way around it unless your way is to stay the same too and not get help. But anyways, what we've done is we've identified like how many people need to book appointments, the show rate to the no show rate. So we have that gap that we've always filled. Then we have our closing percentages. And so we have our minimum viable closing percentages and then our high end closing percentages. And then we have the variance. Here's where we're going to hit an extra 250K recurring revenue. So that's the numbers. Now, the numbers we're looking for is how do we hit an extra 250K per month, considering a lot of variables. Number one, ad costs are rising. Competition is rising. But then also as competition rises, there's also going to be the people that burn out and disappear. Because if you've seen a lot of these people built these cool coaching empires, then all of a sudden after 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, they're gone. They took a hiatus and then they come back as something different, then another hiatus, etc. So we've got that GSD mode on and the culture on right there, like Cody's background, where we have that wherewithal to have like a long-term business. So it's all with systems, people, product, and process. So that's what our 2021, like that's what Cody spent the weekend on. And I got to just chill. I didn't do shit. I just looked at the numbers and said, that's awesome, man. Good job. Let me explain it to the team. You explain it in your way. I'll explain it in my way. And then we run with it. So a lot of you guys may not have teams yet. That's okay. But you can always start going to the building of the teams, because all of the things we talk about, like when we talk to each other personally, like when we're talking about like spending 50 grand in ads a month and like big, huge numbers, they're fucking scary. Don't get me wrong. But so is excitement. Excitement is also from the same nervous system. So we always talk about like, well, what feeling would you rather have? Be scared or be excited? Same nervous system. So we choose excited. So we go down the path to take the risk to get that reward. So in order for us to add even more impact and revenue to not only the people that we can coach and teach and the retainers that we do for people with our consulting services, it allows us that ability to not only grow and scale, but we're making the decisions as if we've already made that kind of revenue. So we have to take that risk. So the advice we give to our own team, our own clients, our own prospects, our own content is all about the perspective. If you want to be a millionaire, you got to start making those decisions millionaires make. They're a little bit tougher, a little bit scarier, but they're also exciting. So we just replace fear with excitement. And then we don't let our success be blinded. We just allow it to rise above that scared, that fear, that what if it doesn't work? Fuck that. What if it does, man? Like you got to take that risk. Otherwise you don't get the reward. Look at the risk that Tony Robbins took, Gary Vaynerchuk took. I mean, these guys took massive, massive risks where it could have failed, but fortunately enough, they had the wherewithal to kind of be that miner that kept going. Now they're the biggest brands in the world. After doing it for 30 years for Gary Vaynerchuk, 50 years for Tony Robbins, look at the long game they're playing. Go to 43-year-old Tony Robbins, broke, zero. You can look at his story. He was a millionaire, went to zero, got sued by his ex-wife. Then he made his empire. Now, I don't know, around 2019, I think he was around 6 billion. So everybody has it in them. It just takes time, takes wherewithal, but it takes the right information, the right coaching and skills. But then having that perspective is probably the most important part, because a lot of people are letting fear conquer their success, and then they feel like they won. Oh, I didn't have to make a decision. I won. But then you have to actually wake up in the morning being no better than you were yesterday. And that's true for a lot of people, but for everybody has that choice. It's not a circumstance you're in. It's a decision you get to make. Kind of like my story with Dwayne Wade from Chicago, right? It's pretty much known as like pretty murder capital of the world, right? For the United States, at least. It's pretty dangerous. So, I mean, he had a choice, and now dude chose to rise above and owns the fucking Utah Jazz. So whatever I think in the morning, that's what goes through my brain. I always think Mamba mentality personally, nothing can stop me. I just put the extra reps in so I can open the gap on my skills and get it compounded faster. But then I also look at the opposite end of the spectrum of a Dwayne Wade or somebody like that, where they had circumstances that they were around that had everything going against them and still made it. So that's kind of like how I like to make the decisions. Things could be worse, things could be better, but I have to make the choices to make it go the way I want. And that's what 2022 is all about, making fucking choices, good ones, bad ones, everything, but forward momentum. We're always going to fail. You're always going to make decisions. You may like fall back on, say, hey, wasn't a good decision. Guess what? Welcome to the club. Welcome to decision-making habits. Have you ever made a bad decision, Cody?
Oh my God.
Have you ever learned from it?
At least 50% of the time.
Have you gotten better from it?
Yes.
but that 50% of the time that you failed, did the successes outweigh the failures? You only have to be right once. You're right
What is it
50% of
that
the time.
I can't remember where this? I think this is at the beginning of Alex Harmosi's book, where he's talking about. I can't remember who the quote is actually from, but like he's like is like as if you played. You're an entrepreneur is a guy swinging the bat. He's a baseball player. He's an MLB player. The only difference is when a baseball player hits a home run, the most he can ever score is 4 points. But as an entrepreneur, you swing for the fences every time because it doesn't matter how many times you strike out. If you hit a home run, you could actually score as many points as you would ever need to win every single World Series for the rest of your entire life off that one hit. And that's why being an entrepreneur is awesome, because you gotta be okay with those strikes, because when you do hit it, you can hit it big, and all it really takes sometimes is one or two good swings and you can change the rest of your life. So
Yeah, I mean, the one thing away, the one client away, the one whatever away, right? I mean, it truly is true. Like it's not. I mean, quite frankly, it's not really a funnel. It's preparation. Once you're prepared, then whatever one thing is the difference, right? Like with me, it was one client, right? If I had one early on picked up a massive unicorn, multi-million dollars per year. And guess what that did? It allowed me to save a lot of money, spend a lot of money. I could make way bigger mistakes. I mean, fuck, I bought a Porsche for cash on a bet. So that I made a big mistake, hated the car, didn't even drive it. Other people did. But my point being is I don't like material stuff, but also I got to make the mistake and didn't flinch me. That was like a week of revenue. It didn't really matter. So I can walk away, and I had 3 weeks left in the month. But my point being is when you take those risks, you get the rewards. And when you get the big dog, then you make bigger decisions. You can grow, you can hire, you can have a team, you can get yourself out of the way as much as you'd like to. You have choices at that stage. And sometimes the choice is staying in the fucking weeds, because sometimes staying in the weeds is who you are. And that's okay. Nobody gets to tell you how to run your business. I love weeds. I also love trees. I also like planes, right? So I like to see it from different levels. Sometimes I take a step back. I don't take any calls, and other people do. Then I can see what happens. Then I can take a level up. I can take a little weekend or 3-4 days off. And then I see from the sky, seeing down of the business, and we can kind of look at things from a different perspective. But the perspective is always where we want to be, not the perspective of where we're in. And that is what we mean by Ready, Set 2022. So who's ready to make some big decisions? And big
comment
decisions, big
below,
gains.
raise your hand and say, hell yeah, man, I'm ready to get shit done.
Yeah.
Look, guys, me and Rahul got to hop off. So I want to leave with this because it just triggered me what Rahul just said. We're all on a starting line right now. All right. And so you get to be on the starting line. You get to choose between being two people who are about to run this race we're about to call 2022. You can be the guy that sits there on the starting line and thinks about how they should win the race. How am I going to run? Which one of these lanes am I going to take? How many feet should I run and sprint and do? When the other guy beside you just took off. The other guy beside you also fell on his face. He got like 3 feet up there and he fell on his face. But guess what? You looked at him and you thought to yourself, how can I avoid that? How can I not fall on my face? And all the while he got the fuck up and took off, and now he's about to hit the finish line. So which one of those people do you want to be? Because a lot of you are always that guy who's just going to sit on that starting line. You're going to be the guy that never gets the race even started. Whereas the other guy who's willing to just get up there, move, and get shit done is always going to get to the end before you. So how are you going to plan out your 2022? What are you going to do? Are you ready to get off the starting line and get shit done? Or is it going to be the same as last year?
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Peace out. Another GSD coffee and closing show. Look out for more. We're going to be actually talking about on some of these calls. We're going to go over some live calls, like where we live cold call, we live objection handle, and go through all kinds of cool shit. So if you guys are here watching this, let me know what you guys want the most help with. Is it objections? Which one is it? I need to think about it. I got to ask my partner. It's too expensive. I'm looking at other options. Like whatever those are, bring those and come correct. We'll drop some videos in here because we got a lot of content. I mean, we created a fuck ton. So we have all that content already pre-recorded that we have for people, which you'll be see dropping soon here with our boy T, our video team. And then we're going to be going live a lot. We're going to be interactive in this motherfucker. So don't forget, Savage Saturdays is back. We took the last 2 Saturdays off because Christmas and New Year's fell on top of those days and took us away from savagery. So with that being said, check out the guides tab and check out the events tab. We got some good shit for you guys this year. We want you guys to get as much value out of this group as possible. And for those of you guys that need extra help, hit us on the DM. We got your back. Peace out, everybody.